3 cool cats.
That's a long time.
Let's hear the tremolos do that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, Brian. Go on. Suck it.
All right, so now I'm going to have to ask that question. Was there ever any animosity? Did you guys actually ever run into Brian Poole and the Tremolos after that?
No animosity from me.
There you go.
But I can't speak for the others. No, we only beat them up once.
All right, there you go. Well, 3 cool cats. Now, where would you guys have pulled a song like that from? Where did that come from?
That was out the American archives.
Right.
I mean, it was a fun song to us. We were different because, okay, there were 3 vocalists in the band. John Bill,
Right.
great coasters. Right. We looked at young blood, 3 cool cats, goes on and on and on. Good songs to do on stage. No one else did them. That was one of the reasons why we did it.
Excellent.
I brought up something just now that we've talked about in our show, which is it's very interesting in the early years of the Beatles, and you can tell from the BBC recordings as well as with Decca, that George got a lot of opportunities to sing lead vocals. Much later on, when they were concentrating on their own material, it was mainly John and Paul, and George would get 1 or 2 songs per album. Were John and Paul very encouraging to George to sing? Was there any competitiveness going on as to, who would get a decent amount of lead vocals?
No, if you remember the stage act, and it transpired into, what we did on record, especially at Decca as well. Everyone got a fair crack of the whip. Now, when we were doing things on stage, it would be John would sing a number, Paul would sing a number, George would sing a number, the 3 of them would harmonise together. They'd take it in turns, right? They all had their favourites, they all had the requests from the audience, and we catered for it. It's as simple as that. So there was no preference. It was like, okay, who's going to start tonight? Paul, John would follow, George.
And also those long hours, those long sets you guys used to do in Germany. I mean, you had to spread the vocals around a lot, I would guess, too.
Yeah, I mean, it was something which, if you looked at our repertoire, we had a big repertoire. I mean, with 6-7 hours a night. That's some repertoire that we needed, and if you listen to some of the early stuff, or you have the Saurus playing in Germany, we put 3 solos in a song. The song would last 7 minutes. Just to drag it out, Johnny be good without 3 solos. What I say would go on for 25 minutes. So, we only had 3 numbers.
There was in Germany, Paul wrote a song for you called The Pinwheel Twist. Right?
Not a good memory for
Well, I figured maybe there might have been a chance for you to shine on the deck.
Okay.
Was there any talk of ever having you do anything on the audition?
Yes, but I quickly vetoed that.
See?
No.
So there was something.
So why would you veto singing the lead?
Why would I veto singing? Anyone heard me singing? Not a pretty song. But
But you did sing some songs when you were on stage.
Matchbox.
yes, you could call it that.
So you did sing, but even if you don't
I have uttered a few notes, not in the right order, but I've uttered a few notes here and there.
Well, I think we'll actually hear. Should we hear one of those Lennon McCartney originals? Of the Lennon McCartney originals, the 3 that were on the auditions, was there one that stuck out in the guys' minds and said that was the,
Yeah, the one Paul used to smooch. Used to sing up to the girls, like dreamers do.
Like dreamers do. So, Steve, if you're with us over there, I'm going to toss track 9 at you. See, Steve, we'll hear a little bit of Paul Kerning. More Num Num.
Now you know why Paul used to sing.
How many people are swooning right now? All right, we got swooners out front. Okay. So you were saying that it was an original idea, really, for you guys to be doing original songs. For the most part, the groups at the time, if I'm not mistaken, were mostly filling their sets with covers. Now, was there ever an instance where a song came in and you guys said, I don't really love that one, or maybe that one's not finished. You had, they were starting to write original songs. Was there something that,
Yeah, when we were getting songs sent to us, we weren't too happy about it. And there was one which was which Jerry and the Pacemakers recorded. It was one of their first hits, which was I Like It. Right?
Oh, wow.
And we did a version of it, and we didn't like it. So we gave it to Jerry, and he got a #1 hit with it. So
There you go.
there you go.
Jerry
We made
likes-
another mistake. There you go.
Jerry likes it a lot.
Jerry liked it a lot.
To this day.
You meant How Do You Do It, right?
No?
How Do You Do It? Isn't it that? Wasn't that the song you're talking about?
I like it.
Is it I Like It or How Do You Do It?
He does it very...
Shut up! Thank you.
You punch him first, we'll punch him
We'll
next.
punch him later.
Spot the key, kill the key, spot
You're
the key.
supposed to deliver a mistake. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, that whole trip into London. Now, was it a feeling that also too wasn't there some weather issue going on? Didn't you guys make the drive to London with some serious,
Both problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
No motorways in those days. No M1. It's all A roads, and we drove in a Peace Super. We turned out to say, which was thick fog. And trips to London in those days with good traffic would have taken about 5 hours.
Wow.
So it was 9.
Wow.
We eventually got it.
Wow. So you were in absolute prime condition for going into a
course.
recording studio to go have the audition of your lives.
9-hour drive.
Yeah.
Hungover from celebrating. Late for the audition. We were raring.
How long was the session, the Decca session?
Too long. We had it all wrapped by, I think we started about 11 o'clock. About 3 hours.
Wow. Okay. Now, just for the record here, was every song one take?
Nearly. A couple of the originals were 2 takes, but most of it was 1 take stuff.
We went, so Decca may have some alternate takes there. So Decca may have some alternate takes.
They could be, yeah. It depends what they may have in the can, or whether they've still got it, and whoever smuggled the Decca tapes out initially, whether he smuggled those out with him.
You, when you did the session, was there a point at the session where you said, we suck? Meaning, we're really not into it today, or a point in the session of a song where you said, that was great. I mean, what was your impression as you were doing it? Did you feel like you get signed or not?
I think once we got over the fear of actually being in a recording studio. I mean, it was Decca, it was New Year's Eve, just on the side. It was a big occasion for us. And once we'd overcome that, and we'd settled into it, got to grips with, the sound that was going to be recorded, the session went pretty smooth. But when you listen to it, I mean, those of you who listen to it many, many times, you can tell there's a lot of mistakes in it. There's bum notes which are sung, solos which are played wrong, vocals, harmonies which are slightly off key. We didn't care, right? It was a record audition, we were doing our best, but I think the underlying feeling was we already had it. That was so that, while it was going on, we were getting this, nod from Mike Smith, it was like, so it was like courses in the wind, just go for it.
Compare the sessions you did with Tony Sheridan, produced by Burt Camford, compared to what you did that day at Decca. Obviously, the Burt Camford session, you recorded at school, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Albert Echo.
Yeah, so you were in a recording studio then. What was the difference between then and Decca, which has been about 6 months?
Well, the thing is, you've got to remember when we did My Bonnie, Bright With Shadow, Is Sweet, The Saints, those first numbers that we did with Sheridan, they were all done at the school hall. We set up on a stage similar to this, wooden stage, exactly as we would be performing, and we played and sang just as we were performing a song. It was a mobile recording unit which Kempford used. It was in the side of the wings at the side of the stage, and we did those numbers in about 2 or 3 days. It was a quick session. We were there for 2 days. I think we blasted up about 8 or 9 numbers.
guys seem more relaxed on those sessions than you did on the Decca audition.
We drunk more. It was good.
Well, but also too, I'm guessing it was probably that idea that, as you were saying earlier, Pete, that idea of the difference of being in the studio versus had you gone into Decca and there had been a stage and a setup and it was just as if you guys were launching into a live set, that Mike Smith probably would have gotten that edge that, that he originally was looking for.
Yeah, you've got to remember, if you haven't been in a recording studio, what recording we had done, being on a school stage, set up basically as you kind of performing. We treated it like that, so I think that was the point I was trying to make before. If you listen to the song, there is apprehension there. There is fear, even though we were the Beatles, we were arrogant, we were big-headed, we were going to be the top dogs, that came out in the music. But you listen to it closely, and there's mistakes there. And that's our own mistakes, that's our own fears coming out in the music.
I want to bring up something because of an interview that I heard that you did with Tony many years back. A wonderful interview. This whole idea of the Beatles being this varied, eclectic band with so many different musical styles, was that something that you consciously wanted to do so you could be so mass appeal that you would appeal to everybody? Because one particular anecdote here, what you said with Tony many years back, you remembered how Paul used to sing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" with you, and you can tell the folks what John used to do while the Beatles were performing.
He used to, Paul, another of Paul's numbers, right? He'd be crooning and swooning with the girls. The girls will be swooning at somewhere over the rainbow. And John would be standing behind them, right? Pulling faces. Just trying to break that moment. Because both of them are still giving it smouldering eye treatment and everything like that. John's behind him, going.
Typical John.
Typical John. Now, if John was making fun of the song, why would he want to play on it? Why didn't he just say, "I don't want to play on it"?
Probably for that very reason.
Who said he was playing on it?
Okay, good.
Who said he was playing on it?
Well, let's pick another song from the Decca auditions. This was an interesting one. This is one that carried forward in there. A few of the songs carried on into the group's recording career. But let's hear a little bit of you guys doing Money. That's what everyone, let's see. Number 10, please. Let's hear a little bit. This is the guys doing Money at the Decca audition. This is a little bit of John vocal.